Hello. Um, about 2 or 3 days ago now, I made a video talking about some of the basics of learning to control yourself. What I would like to touch on today is another first step that you should make, and the idea is not allowing others to dictate your emotions. When you want to accomplish something in your life, whether you want to consider it an excuse or not, I'm sure you can think about times in your life where you've had a goal or you've wanted something, but you found other people, whether they're promising to go out to the bar, to have a good time, or whether, a significant other or a friend is upset with you about something. And then, you know, you convince yourself not to follow the things that you have set for yourself, like the goals, based off of the emotions of someone else. Um, while I think it's very important to obviously care and to show affection and understanding towards people, especially the ones that are close to you, it's important to understand that your goals are only going to be achieved by you. If someone else achieves them, then you have not completed your goals. It's just the fact of it. So today I wanted to talk just a little bit about that and kind of something, some tips and tricks I've learned along the way to help me control myself in that regard specifically. So I would like to start with the idea of, well, how to start with it. Again, it's another one of those goals that has a journey to it, you know. And the idea of overall self control, being in charge of yourself at every, like, I wouldn't even say every moment of the day, but the important moments of the day. You can allow yourself just to be lost in the moment more often than you would think when you know when it's necessary to not do so, to be in control in those moments. So, first of all, I think anger is a big one. Anger is a huge downfall of our goal completion, right? It's I'm certain that you can even think about a time today where you have gotten upset or angry. So whether it's someone cutting you off in traffic, a coworker not finishing what they should be doing, and leaving extra work for you to do, whatever it happens to be, your significant other not following through with the thing that you asked, what maybe, or maybe even it's something that you have done, right? Maybe you messed something up and therefore the reaction of that other person has now made you upset. Um, and I feel like a lot of the answers that we look for self-control, actually we can look within ourselves to understand that the most. Like, if you make a mistake and it's a genuine mistake, like it's not something that you did intentionally, but it's something that you were putting your effort into, but it just didn't play out how you wanted it to, whether it's, you know again, being at work and putting the wrong numbers into the wrong spot and then you mess something up. When it's a genuine mistake, do you not want understanding from your coworkers, from your superiors? Do you not want them to just understand where it is that you're coming from? And in a lot of cases, you're not going to get that if you do not put it out. There's the golden rule that they talk about. Treat others how you want to be treated. And I've heard that since I was a child, and it never really clicked with me. But about 2 weeks ago, I thought about it, and I thought about exactly what that at least means to me. If you put positivity out, no matter how someone else is treating you, your soul is clean. Your mind is clean. That person may have done you negatively, but in that moment, you chose to stay calm and you chose to deal with it in a professional or kind manner, whichever way you want to put it, you know? And so I find so often, currently, I'm working as in a restaurant, like as an expo. So I'm the person that cleans up the plates and makes sure everything's on them. And, very much so you are the messenger between the servers and the cooks, correct? Uh, a lot of the times, and I'm sure you've heard the saying again, don't shoot the messenger, right? But quite often that's the case. I have found that no matter what happens, if I maintain a positive outlook of the situation, I know that at the end of it, I'm going to clock out and I'm not going to have to worry about it. I know that after every mistake, whether it be my own or someone on the grill line or one of the servers, like there are two options that we ultimately have in that moment. Either A, we can get upset and we can complain about it and spend 2 to 5 minutes complaining and being mean to each other and then fix the problem. Or we could skip the first part and just fix the problem, right? If you often, the reason that I find that at least I and many other people around me that I've spoken to about it, the reason that we get very upset with people or just upset in general is because we see ourselves or we see them making a mistake and we put ourselves into their shoes and think what we would have done differently. To do this is, it just sounds strange and crazy, does it not? To get upset at someone because they're not acting exactly how you would have. Obviously, I don't think anybody wants a hive mind community, like that sounds wacky and just obviously not very positive. So in that regard, I offer one thing for you to try with this specifically, and that is to learn to observe without judging. When you and it's not going to be something that you can do for an entire 24 hours. It's going to be something that, especially when you're first starting, you get into the mind place, the mindset of it. You do it on the good times, and then you're able to slowly transition that into the difficult times of life. And so what I mean by this is that when you get cut off in traffic, if you observe it without emotion, what you observe is that no matter how you react in this situation, you are still stuck behind that person. You are now in like, previously you had an open road, and now you have someone directly in front of you. And whether you get upset or not, they're still going to be right there in front of you, right? So to waste emotion and waste energy getting angry in that moment, when looking at it from the outside lens like this, it seems almost severely unnecessary. And my point behind what I'm trying to say is that, there's always a but in a situation. This person made me upset because I asked him to do me a favor and he didn't follow through with it. But, what if he was busy? What if he, had truly just forgotten about it, and you can look at yourself and think about times where you have truly just forgotten. It doesn't matter if it's your loved one or your coworker. Like, you can think of times where you have just accidentally done something different than what was expected of you, right? And it wasn't an intentional effort. And again, in those moments, I'm sure you can think to yourself that you did not want to be judged very harshly because it was truly a mistake, So the walk a mile in someone else's shoes, that's a big thing, because if you can learn to, just for a moment, when you start feeling an emotion, just for a moment, think, how would I feel in that situation? What if they are just truly making a mistake? prior to this point, I would like to say, as soon as this video is over with, or even now, pause the video. Think to yourself, how does it feel inside of myself when I get angry? How does it feel inside of myself when I get happy, when I get sad, when I get bitter, when I get resentful? Any of these emotions. If you cannot pinpoint it, then the next time you feel it, think about it. I'm sure you can think, there are times where you've been angry and you feel that build up inside of your chest and you feel yourself starting to tense up. That's a recognizable trait to anger. So by recognizing these things, by becoming mentally aware of what happens when you start mentally feeling something and your physical reactions to it, once you recognize that in your conscious mind, the next time it happens, and maybe not the very next time, but through practice, at least one of the next few times that it happens, you're going to recognize it before, like as it's starting, right? And in those moments, you have to ask yourself, is my negative reaction to this going to change anything? Like, do I have to be rude to this person because they did something that I don't like? Or can I just keep my calmness? Because I don't think most anyone enjoys being angry or enjoys being sad or enjoys being any of the negative emotions, And even when you're happy, you should do this because it's learning yourself. You're basically, your subconscious is a book. And if you don't learn to at least open the book to see the words on the page, you're not going to learn anything about yourself. A question that you may have is that, well, what if these people do these things on purpose? What if I ask somebody to do something and they purposefully choose not to do it? What if I ask my wife to do the dishes before I get home because I'm going out and I'm doing a project on the house, or whatever it happens to be, right? Like I ask for a favor and it's agreed upon, but then I get back and it's purposefully not done, which, I hope that wouldn't be a type of situation you would find yourself in with a significant other, but nonetheless, if that's the person that you want to be with, learning to deal with those situations is important. So my point behind this, though, is that especially strangers, especially people who are not close in your circle, when they do something to you, they are often expecting a response. With negative output, and you can perceive it in the world, with negative output always comes a return negative output, right? Or, negative input to negative output, correct? And so with that being said, if you see that every single time everybody reacts the same exact way, from your childhood that when something negative happens, you've always seen people react negatively. So that's what you choose to do. It's a choice. It's a choice that we no longer realize that we have because we've been doing it for so long, but it is a choice. And so when that person chooses to do negative to you, they're hoping to get a negative response. They know how the game goes. You're not their first person that they've ever been rude to. They know that when they're rude, they're going to get rudeness back. And so is it not, at least to start, you can find at least a little bit of joy in this. I think that over time you should release that and understand that it's just about yourself. But at least in the beginning, you can use it as a way to say, screw this. No, I'm not going to react. I'm not going to give you the reaction that you're looking for, And by not returning their anger with more anger, or their, because without doing that, they're going to not know how to react. And I can't tell you how many times I've had someone be rude to me, and I'm not kind to them necessarily. And this is the weird thing about it. You cannot say to yourself, that you're necessarily doing it for them. You're doing it for yourself. It's no different than holding guilt, or not guilt, but resentment towards someone, anger for doing something to you. You should not, if you find it hard to forgive this person, you should still forgive them, not for them, not for their own peace of mind, but for yours. If you choose to forgive that person, you choose to relinquish all of those emotions that you have dwelling over you because of this person's actions, that is good for you. Whether it's good for them or not is irrelevant. It's good for you. And so choosing this action, making the choice to put out positivity instead of negativity in those moments, not only does it show the others around you that you are more mature and that people can trust you and that they can like you're just seen as so much stronger of a person, and people are and again, it's not a reason to do it, but it's a benefit to it. People want to be around you more, you know. And I'm a bit of an introvert myself. I enjoy when people want to be around me when I'm in public for that reason, you know. And other than that, obviously, like, I'm staying at the house, you know. I just say that just to, you know, just in case there are any introverts that are thinking, well, you know, I don't want people to be around me, you know. So yeah, so that's two things I touched on today. So I want you to try to evaluate the physical reactions to your mental emotions that arise. That's the first step. And the second step is try for at least 5 minutes a day. Not when you're sitting, like, you can try to do it when you're at home. It's going to be constructive, but honestly, I would say do it on your drive. That's step one. That's definitely like a good place to do it. When you're driving, try to look and take in information without judging it first. And when someone cuts you off in traffic, think to yourself, no matter how much I yell, how angry I get, how much I let this person affect my emotions, it's not going to change the fact that they're in front of you. In fact, it may only just make it worse. And if anything, at the very least, it has dampened your mood. And why would you ever allow someone else to, like, allowing other people to be in control of your emotions sounds like the absolute wackiest thing. And I'm obviously guilty of it, you know. Like, I've only come into this maybe in the past 5 to 6 months, but nonetheless, there's a peace in it, truly. So, one more time, 5 minutes of taking in information, experiencing the world around you without judging, at least once a day. Set an alarm, or again, just do it on your drive. And then number 2, which is, give me just a moment, it is to, yes, evaluate your emotions, like your physical reactions to your mental emotions. I hope to do another video here soon. Again, I'm still learning this whole formatting thing, and you know, taking up the amount of time that I'm taking. This video is already 18 minutes long, but, you know, hopefully with some time I can refine it a little bit, maybe even start doing those like some pictures or something, you know, drawing some things for you guys. There's a channel I will link down in the bottom of this in the description. I found him just the other day, and he had a really cool chart, and this is the things I talked about today in this video is talking about going into the 6th to 7th level of what he's talking about on this video. And you know, if you guys have any questions, don't be afraid to ask down below, and I'm sure I can respond with more questions of my own. And if you have a chance to watch that other video, also leave that down in the comments. Like, you know, like, let me know what you thought about that. And practice those 2 techniques along with the video from 3 days ago where I was talking about some basic, like, actual interacting with you know, with yourself, with your own routine. Keep those in mind as well. And I will talk to you guys again soon. Probably within the next week I'll be making another video, and I hope that y'all have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.